Sairam to you as well. Let's just wait for the team to come online. Yes, who was the leader of this group? Political parties chapter? Was it Keshav or Ishaq? Chapter political parties. कोई मेंबर भी प्रेजेंट नहीं है क्या उसका ग्रुप का?
Ma'am, Yuvraj.
Yuvraj is the leader. So Yuvraj, write the names of all the members of your group here and we will begin your presentation. Yuvraj, are you present in the meeting or not? Okay, I have the names. Now just begin the presentation. पूरा ग्रुप म्यूट पे रहने वाला है क्या पूरे प्रेजेंटेशन में? सीधे 0 देके काम खत्म करें क्या? Start something. It's about time. You already knew it's your turn. जतिन, इशाक, अर्चित, त्र्यंबकेश, योगेंद्र, युवराज, कोई एक तो अपना मुंह खोल के कुछ बोलो. I am running very thin on patience with you people right now. Then start presenting. PPT on federalism, political parties किस ग्रुप को दे रखा था? People make me go back to my emails so much. Your PPT is not working on desktop. So what am I supposed to do now? बताओ मुझे. तुम्हारा प्रेजेंटेशन है और आज ही के दिन तुम्हारी पीपीटी नहीं चल रही है. बताओ मुझे. माइक अनम्यूट करके बात करो. मैं यहाँ से चैट बॉक्स बंद कर रही हूँ. दिस इज नॉट अ वे टू कम्युनिकेट विथ मी.
मैम वो युवराज की तबीयत भी खराब हो गई थी.
तो फिर क्या करोगे तुम लोग? कैसे प्रेजेंटेशन करोगे? मोबाइल शेयरिंग पे भी प्रेजेंटेशन हो सकते हैं. दैट इज नॉट अ गुड इनफ एक्सक्यूज. युवराज, यू आर द ग्रुप लीडर. कुछ बोलोगे तुम? इज दिस नॉट योर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी? या पूरे ग्रुप को सीधे 0 दे के बात खत्म करें? चैप्टर तो मैं पढ़ा दूंगी, मुझे कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. It's enough. I'm giving this group 0. They can do whatever they want in the meantime. और इन लोगों को इस हाफ ईयरली में भी 0 दे दूं. जो भी अभी नया टेस्ट होगा इसमें भी 0 ही मिलेगा because they are not interested in presenting on time. Yes. Moving ahead to the next group. इतने हल्के में ले रहे हो तुम लोग असाइनमेंट्स, एज इफ यू नो तुम लोगों को लास्ट मोमेंट तक जो इसके मेकअप्स मिलते रहेंगे. अरे बिल्कुल नहीं मिलेंगे. यहाँ अगर मेरा इतना खून जल रहा है तो मैं तुम लोगों को फिर से मौका नहीं दूंगी. आई एम डन विद दिस.
Innovative marketing campaigns that emphasized what the soap could do by highlighting the only thing it couldn't do, that is, wash clothes. advertisements for new products and inventions of the industrial age provided detailed information in order to educate the customer. Technical information was included in advertisements to convince the customer. The advertisement and the consumer magazine in which it appeared highlight the emergence of the informed consumer in the industrialized world. The latest innovation and milestones in the railroad industry found its place in advertisements. Do you find such advertisements in present day by private companies? Advertisements for spare parts indicated the growth of specialized industries. Notice the tagline. The consumer is asked to put their faith in General Electric rather than black daylight. This signifies the rise of large corporations. Think about this and discuss.
The Industrial Revolution that began in England in the mid-18th century was mainly driven by the invention of machines. The world changed forever as slow and painstaking human labor was now replaced by machine work. Yet, machines were just one of many factors that combined to produce the ideal conditions for the revolution in 18th century England. Let's look at some of the chief causes of the Industrial Revolution in England. In the early part of the 18th century, Britain was largely a feudal agricultural society. However, by the latter part of the century, commons, or the open fields in which peasants worked, were being enclosed by landowners. Peasants were left with little or no land to work on. Besides, there was no work on the farm during winters. They needed alternative sources of income. Expansion of world trade and the acquisition of colonies gave Britain new markets and created a huge demand for textiles and other finished goods. British colonies like India also provided raw materials at low prices. Merchants from towns started approaching peasants and artisans in the countryside to produce goods individually. They provided advance money for the work. In each peasant home, the entire family contributed to this new activity. Soon, domestic production of goods grew to large numbers, creating a whole cottage industry. This is often referred to as the proto-industrialization phase. Goods were still handmade, but they were produced in mass numbers across the countryside. Intellectually, post-Renaissance ideals like freedom of thought, scientific temper, and a spirit of experimentation created an atmosphere conducive to inventions and discoveries. The invention of machines was one of the most important and direct causes of the Industrial Revolution. Some of the most significant early inventions were related to the textile industry. In 1733, John Kay invented the flying shuttle, which greatly increased the speed of weaving. In 1764, a British carpenter, James Hargreaves, invented the spinning jenny that enabled weaving of multiple yarns simultaneously. In 1769, Richard Arkwright got the patent for the water frame, a water-powered device that produced stronger yarn. This was the first automatic textile machine, and it led the way from domestic manufacturing to factory production. By 1781, James Watt had patented the new steam engine that enabled machines to be powered by steam. Inventions like these occurred across industries and steadily propelled the Industrial Revolution forward in its early phase. The adequate availability of iron and coal in Britain played an important role in the making of machines. Iron was used for making the machines, while coal was used as fuel for the machines. Britain's geographical location gave it strategic access to trade with other countries by sea. Steamboats and steam engine-powered trains facilitated faster and easier transport of goods. The expansion of railroads in Britain and its colonies like India not only helped trade, but also spurred growth of iron and steel manufacturing industries in England. Thus, we see that a combination of scientific, social, and economic factors led to the Industrial Revolution in 18th century England.
Anybody has any question regarding the videos that we have seen?
मैम एक बार causes
We've already covered these portions in presentation.
मैम वो क्या था मैम प्रोटो रेनेसेंस जो भी था वो आइडियल्स
Yes, Saurabh, are you saying something? I could not understand you.
मैम वो क्या था मैम प्रोटो रीएसेंस क्या था रीएसेंस या रीनेसेंस जो भी था आइडियल्स जो भी कुछ था
Oh my God, wait for a minute. तुम लोग कैसे आ गए इस क्लास में? मैं रेनेसांस का मीनिंग नहीं पता.
मैम मैं तो वो वर्ड ही ढंग से नहीं देख पाया.
This is the spelling and you should go research it. It's a very huge topic in itself. Renaissance or Renaissance are the way people pronounce it because it is a French word. It was the revival of basically everything in Europe. During the dark ages, everything stopped, most of the things stopped progressing, or the rate of progress became very slow. But from Italy, these kind of art, ये जो हम आर्ट पीसेस देखते हैं 14 से 17th सेंचुरी, लगभग जो 3 सेंचुरीज थे, द होल प्रोसेस ऑफ कीपिंग द सिविलाइजेशन अहेड, इट स्टार्टेड कि नई चीजों को सोचो, नए आइडियाज ढूंढो, दे स्टार्टेड बीइंग एनकरेज। उसके पहले तक हाँ ठीक है, ये तो जो गूगल की डेफिनेशन है, आई एम ट्राइंग टू मेक यू अंडरस्टैंड इन कॉमन वर्ड्स, कि इसके पहले जो कंडीशंस थी दे वर वेरी डार्क, कुछ खास वहां पर हो नहीं रहा था, कोई प्रोग्रेस नहीं हो रही थी। बट ड्यूरिंग दिस टाइम आर्ट, कल्चर, आर्किटेक्चर, all these things, they were reborn, they were re-christianed, they were again put into the sphere, और वेस्टर्न सिविलाइजेशन यहाँ से आगे बढ़ना शुरू हुई। क्योंकि ये जो हम टाइम की बात कर रहे हैं 14 to 17th century, इंडिया वाज एक्चुअली अहेड ऑफ ऑल दीज यूरोपियन कंट्रीज। European countries, they were into superstitions and all those stupid things, जिसकी वजह से progress रुक जाती है। Yes, anything else? थोड़ा सा इसके ऊपर पढ़ के आना, we can discuss this. This is a good thing.
What was the impact of industrialization on workers in Victorian Britain? During Queen Victoria's reign, people from rural Britain came to cities in search of work. As a result, the supply of labor was far greater than the demand, which led to low wages and poor living conditions. Taking advantage of this scenario, industrialists employed labor in their factories instead of introducing machines. This was done to avoid large capital investment. Work was seasonal in Victorian Britain. Industrialists could hire and fire workers easily as per their requirement. Laborers, on the other hand, had no choice but to wait for work. Everyone did not find work either. People with connections of friends and family working in the cities were first to find jobs. Those who didn't know anyone spent a lot of time being unemployed. The wages of the workers were very low. They had to work long and hard hours and practically got nothing in return. Most of them led a poor life and died due to industrial accidents, diseases, or stress. When the busy season was over, some workers returned to their villages while most stayed back doing odd jobs. The Napoleonic War of early 19th century caused an inflation. There was a sharp rise in prices which further burdened the workers. The money they made was now able to buy fewer things than before. Even during the economically best times, like the mid-19th century, 10% of the urban population lived in extreme poverty. Nothing mattered more to them than finding regular work and keeping themselves afloat in the overcrowded job market. The fear of unemployment made many workers paranoid. They opposed the introduction of any new technology like the spinning jenny. The gap between rich and poor was very wide in Victorian Britain. The upper classes, which included aristocrats and the bourgeoisie, led a luxurious lifestyle. They preferred to use handmade products because they symbolized class. These products were expensive, intricate, and carefully designed. Machine-made products were considered appropriate for the masses and for people living in British colonies. It is ironical that the machine-made goods were putting the very people out of work who were meant to buy them. It was only after the 1840s that construction and building activities started in cities. Roads were widened, railway lines were laid, new railway stations came up, rivers were embanked, and drainage and sewers were built. Employment increased in construction-related industries. Transportation was another industry employing large number of people. Let's summarize what we learned today.
So any questions? Okay, fine. And then in the next class, we will continue with the presentations and let's see which one we do. Geography का next chapter कौन सा है? Manufacturing industries. Is this chapter to be studied? Okay, तुम्हारा है तो तैयारी करो. Next presentation तुम लोगों का होगा. Let's hope you do better than the group who did not care to even show up for the presentation. So that will be all for today. Thank you and sign off.